Might be fun because there's the word
Yes.
myth in the title. It
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be fun to just have each of you, maybe Marissa can talk about like what the myth is, and Kelsey could tell us a little bit about like the development and history of that.
The myth of God's way to parent, or that there's a good Christian parenting way, appeals to a lot of longings, especially people who love the Lord have, right? Like they want to please the Lord. And we hear from a lot of people who, were new converts when they first welcomed children. And so they thought, well, I want to learn how to do this the right way, God's way. Or people, I mean, transition to parenthood is a time of vulnerability. So this idea that maybe God has a pattern or a blueprint or a plan. And this is the kind of language you see in a lot of these resources, that there's a plan, that there is a way in which they should all go. And if you do it right, you can have some kind of guaranteed results, whether it's in the language of Ted Tripp, your children will be in a circle of blessing, or whether it's Gothard's umbrella, they'll be protected somehow under this umbrella. So there's a variety of clothing these myths can wear, but they all essentially add up to a kind of prosperity gospel parenting promise that would say there's a godly formula to do this. It usually involves corporal punishment. It usually involves a certain kind of catechesis into certain theological frameworks. It involves a high priority on obedience, all these sorts of things, often presented in a very compelling way.
You start looking into these like 1970, like right in there as Dobson is starting to write, there's this idea that there's this biblical way that we have to like excavate and reintroduce to the world, that it's like underneath there, that's this evergreen biblical path that is, these ideas aren't mine, they're God's, they've just been lost. Neglectful and permissive parents have set those aside, and we need to find them again, and then all will be well. One of, I think, the key myths of this, and I would define the Christian parenting like genre as we talk about it as like popular Christian parenting books written like 1970 and after, because there are some really important changes in the Christian publishing market and in evangelicalism as an identity that make these books kind of a particular thing. And there are some myths and desires underneath those books, like we can write the path of the country by doing this right. Like we can not just fix your family, we can fix America. Like and that's not an overstatement. Like the last sentence of the last chapter of Dare to Discipline is basically some variation of we can bring back godliness in America.